Hi kindergartners, welcome back for another story time. Today we have the book, Not Norman, a Goldfish story. I love this book and I don't think we've read it as a class before. I know that some of you have pets at home. We have a class pet at my home right now that usually is in our classroom. Finding a pet is a hard decision and you never know which one is going to be right. So this story is about a little boy who is trying to find the perfect pet for him. Let's read it. It's called Not Norman, a Goldfish Story by Kelly Bennett and illustrated by Noah Z. Jones. When I got Norman, I didn't want to keep him. I wanted a different kind of pet, not Norman. And if you haven't been able to tell yet, Norman is a goldfish. I wanted a pet who could run and catch, or one who could climb trees and chase strings. A soft, furry pet to sleep on my bed at night. Not Norman. All Norman does is swim around and 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 around. This is it, Norman, I decide. I'm treating you for a good pet. Norman doesn't move. Not even a fin twitches. How can I trade him like this? No one will want a sorry-looking fish in a gunky bowl. You look, poor Norman's bowl is not very clean right now. I think because our main character here is not so happy, he hasn't been taking care of Norman, which isn't really fair to Norman. Even if it's a pet you don't particularly care for, you should probably still take care of it. When I drop Norman into his nice clean bowl, he starts dipping and flipping, flopping his fins around. He looks so goofy I have to laugh. Don't think just because you made me laugh I'm going to keep you, I tell him. Tomorrow you're out of here. Norman blows a stream of bubbles. Oh look, I think Norman got happier once his fish bowl was clean. What do you think? The next day, I take Norman to school with me. If I talk him up real good during show and tell, maybe someone will want him. On the way there, we see my friend Austin. Austin has a real cool dog and 7 puppies. Want to swap one of your pups for Norman? I ask. Who's Norman? Asks Austin. My goldfish, I say. By the time I rescue Norman, half his water is gone. Here he is with the puppies. Or Austin's dog and the puppies, I should say. And then poor Norman's water is being drank by one of the dogs. Norman's had it a little bit rough. I'm sorry, I tell Norman when we get to school. I'm really sorry. He just stares at me, all googly-eyed. It's my turn to show and tell. Just as I start to talk about goldfish, Emily shouts, "Jenny's gone! Who let my snake loose?" He's filling up Norman's bowl with some fresh water since all of it got drink. And then here he's doing a show and tell. He has a sign that says, "Norman, one amazing fish." Does anyone hear the story of how I got Norman? Does anyone even ask or hold his bowl? No. They're all jumping and screaming and chasing the snake. Not Norman. He's looking right at me. Thanks for listening, I tell him. What do you think of Norman? Do you think Norman is a good pet to have? Or do you feel the way our main character feels and think that he's kind of a boring pet? That afternoon, we go to my music lesson. As soon as it's over, I'm taking Norman back to the pet store. I take out my tuba and begin to play. Boom, boom, ba, boo, ba, 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 boom, boo, boo, bee, bee, boom, ba, ba, boo, bee. I glance over at Norman. He's swaying back and forth. Gloop, 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 glug, he mouths. Look, Norman's singing, I say. Pay attention, snaps Mastro, and try to play the proper notes. Here they are in music class. There's Norman singing along. Our main character with his tuba. Mastro makes me stay for extra practice. By the time my lesson is over, it's too late to go to the pet store. Don't think that just because you like my music, I'm going to keep you, I tell Norman. He glugs. That night, I'm sound asleep when screech, screech. What's that noise? Scratch, scratch, screech. Yikes, there's something at the window. Then out of the corner of my eye, I spot. I wonder what he's gonna see. What do you think? I don't know. Not what I was expecting. Norman? He isn't scared. He isn't swimming around in circles either. He glugs and gives me a little wave. I'm not alone. Together, Norman and I slide open the curtains. It was just a broken tree branch. Sometimes noises we hear are not what we expected. And something that we thought was scary isn't as scary as we thought. On Saturday, I take Norman to the pet store, just like I said I would. I look at the cats and dogs and snakes and birds. I look at the hamsters and mice and lizards too. They all look like good pets, but they are not Norman. I wonder what that means. So they saw all these other pets, but they're not Norman. Do you have an idea of what he's thinking about doing now? When I got Norman, I wasn't sure I wanted to keep him. But now, even if I could pick any pet in the whole world, I wouldn't trade him. Not Norman. Norman has a bigger fishbowl now. You see that? I'm so glad that the main character figured out something that he thought wasn't so great ended up being perfect for him. Have you ever had that moment where there's something you weren't too excited about, whether it's a pet or a new pair of shoes or a shirt or even something to eat that you were not excited about, and then after you got used to it, you're like, you know what? I love this item, or I love this pair of shoes, or I love my pet. I wonder if you can write about it today. I would love to see and read later on when we're back what you were able to write about for either a pet or something that was new that you had to learn how to like. Or if you could have any pet in the whole world, what would you have? Do you have an elephant? A cat? A moose? A rat? What would be your choice for a pet? Let me know. See you soon. Bye.